Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, The Urgent Need for Trusted Digital Signatures in Australia. I'm Megan Chappell from SigniFlow, and I'll be your host today. As you know, the pandemic accelerated the use of e-signatures amongst Australian businesses, with the federal government enacting temporary changes that allowed companies to conduct business digitally. This included the use of electronic signatures instead of physically handwritten ones, and it significantly eased the transition from face-to-face to remote business. While the speed of which e-signature technology was adopted allowed for immediate business use and electronic transactions, users didn't necessarily have time to weigh the risks associated with the electronic execution of documents. In addition, many were not fully informed around the different types of electronic signatures available to them and what the benefits of each were. You would have heard about electronic signatures and digital signatures, two terms that get used interchangeably, but which are fundamentally different. Indeed, not all online signatures are created equal. Today, we have two experts in the field, Rocky Chan from GlobalSign and David Saunders from SigniFlow, with us to shed some light on this. Rocky and David will help you better understand the difference between electronic signatures and digital signatures against the backdrop of the urgent need of trusted digital signatures in Australia. At the end of the webinar, we will have a Q&A session. Please feel free to bring up any questions that you have during this session. Or alternatively, you can type your questions in the Q&A window and we'll answer them after the presentations. Now let's welcome Rocky, who will share more information specific to how digital signatures can prove authorship and authenticity of three documents, as well as the signer's identity. He will highlight all the imminent roles of trusted digital signatures in our company's digital transformation journey. Over to you, Rocky.
Thank you very much, Megan. Hi, everyone. My name is Rocky, and I'm a senior account manager from GlobalSign. And myself have been working with a lot of clients from Australia and New Zealand for almost 5 years. So allow me to give a little bit of introduction about our company. GlobalSign have been a public trusted certificate authority since 1997, and we, as a leading provider of digital identity and security management solution for provider, we are actually one of the longest standing web trust accredited certificate authority in the world, and that lead us in the industry by providing Internet of Everything in many countries. And I believe many of you might be wondering, like, what is a digital certificate authority? Basically, a certificate authority is a public trusted entities that manage and issue a digital certificate. And in order to issue the digital certificate, we have a set of rules and the policies that we need to follow, and to make sure that, you know, when we issue out a digital certificate, we are not issue out to a fake identity or an unauthorized person. So today's agenda, we will be talking about what are electronic and digital signature in general, and how does PDF reader verify a valid digital signature, and what is the role for GlobalSign in digital identity, and then also we talk about how GlobalSign issue a digital certificate, and how to digitally sign a document by using SigniFlow. Right, so electronic signature or e-signature refer broadly to any electronic process that indicated acceptance of an agreement or a record. And the term digital signature is frequently used to refer a specific type of an electronic signature. Electronic signature is just an image and a symbol or sound that used to sign an online document, which it is a digitized equivalent of a handwritten signature. And if you look at a digital signature, it's use a specific type of electronic signature that use a certificate-based digital ID to authenticate a signer's identity and demonstrate the proof of signing by binding each signature to the document where with an encryption, and validation is done through trusted certificate authorities or a trusted service provider. So let's just take a look of one of a simple comparison here about electronic signature and digital signature. So you can see to compare both, you have to look at the legal weight, the area of this application, security, identity and trust, and the source of the signer. So let's focusing on couple of key points here. If you look at, let's say, in terms of the security here, you can see that a digital signature actually will allow you to verify a signer's identity. And also in terms of use it, you will have to use it together with a signing application. Like for example, you can have a PIN code or passcode, user login, all these kind of features to do a digital signature. And compared to electronic signature, these are unable to do. Next part here, I will be showing you a demo which I have actually seen from some of my customer in the past, and the way they sign a document by using an electronic signature is not really considered as safe or secure, but it also can be easily to be faked by someone else. So let me show you the demo here. Assuming this is one of the document that I'm giving it to one of my customer, Mr. Jackson, and John is my line manager. So what I'm going to do here is that before I send out this quotation, I didn't get John's approval, and now I'm trying to fake John's signature in the document and send it to Mr. Jackson. And I can show you how to do it right now. So as you can see, this is Adobe PDF Reader, which is everybody use it every day in your business practice. You know, when you send a document, when you sign a contract or whatever. So the PDF Reader itself, it comes with a function called Fill and Sign. So which is right under here. So if you go to Fill and Sign, I guess some of you guys have used this before. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna click here, and then I will click sign yourself. So what I'm going to do here is that I will add a signature. When I add a signature, you can see there are like a couple of options here that allow you to input to sign the document. So assuming I managed to get a picture of John's signature from one of the hard copy document, right? I can just easily copy and paste to this document right here. All right. So done. Let me close it. And now you can see the document has John's electronic signature. I can send to Mr. Jackson without nobody know, because this is a handwritten signature from John, and I just take a picture of it and then save it as an image to send out. So this is one of the way that I have seen people done it in the past, and you can see that how easily an electronic signature can be fake by different person. So this is one of the scenario. There's a second scenario, which also people told me that, oh, they can create a digital identity by themselves. Yes, they can do that, but what I'm going to show you here is that if a digital identity is not provided by a public trusted certificate authority, meaning to say anyone can use your name to create a digital identity. So here's another function that you can see from here. Still go to the tools, then I will go to a certificate, and I'm going to here click digitally sign, and then I will just draw a signature block here, and I go here configure new digital ID. So if I go here, create a new digital identity, continue, and I will save this digital identity into a Windows certificate store. So a Windows certificate store is where your laptop or your PC that save the digital certificate in general. So now I'm going to hit continue, and right here I'm going to create put John's name, sales, sign, on email, and then yeah, all this I can choose any like countries or region when I want it. So I leave all this as by default. Save it. So after I save it, you can see that I have John's digital ID. I can just use it to sign the document. So I'm gonna hit continue, and yep, everything I have already all preset. So yeah, still I have John's signature. Sign the document. So before I sign this document, I will have it saved. Okay, so now I have this document saved. Let's open it and then let's see what happened. So you can see the document has been digitally signed by using a self-created digital identity. And yes, you might be wondering why the blue ribbon here says that sign and all signatures are valid. Let me explain to you. Remember earlier when we created this document, this digital ID, uh, it's also created a digital identity for John, which is automatically saved in my Microsoft Windows. And meaning to say, if you have this certificate saved in any of the PC, when you receive this self-signed document, you will all get this blue ribbon here. But let me show you some more detail here. If I go to the signature, let's go to the signature, and I will go to check the signature properties by meaning to say see the digital signature detail. You can see, yes, you can still see this this name, this email address, this information, and issue by John Smith. So now comes to a question. With all this information right here, it's all created by myself. And if you receive it, you may be wonder, oh, okay, this is actually from John. But what what if I delete this digital ID in my laptop, in my computer, and think about it in this way: your computer or your laptop may not have John's digital ID. So let me show you how it looks like after this. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to delete this digital ID, close it. I will close the document, and then I will open it again. So this is the document that I just digitally signed, and you can see here says at least one signature has problem. It's because I deleted John Smith digital ID. So in a general practice, you will not receive any random person's digital ID and then save it in your Windows and then say, okay, this is my ID. You have to trust my digital ID, because this is not really makes sense to or to trust an actual digital signature, right? So let me show you a sample here that what is an actual digital signature, like what kind of information that it will contain. So again, you see the blue ribbon here, which I will explain it further for you later. But what I'm trying to show you here is that if I go to the signature here, again, I will check the digital signature information. I will see, yes, my name, my email address, my organization name, and issue by GlobalSign GCC R6 AATLCA. So remember this one here. This one I also will explain further in my following slide. So after you see this demo, and you can see that a valid digital signature signed by a digital certificate is trusted in the Adobe Reader. And this is due to Adobe's approved trusted list member. So meaning to say, Adobe Approved Trusted List Member is a program that allows millions of users and around the world to digitally sign a document that is trusted whenever the signed document is open in Adobe Reader. So GlobalSign as part of Adobe Approved Trusted List Member, and therefore the digital identity that provided by GlobalSign is a trustworthy certificate that, and this is how Adobe Reader verify the digital signature based on their members' digital certificate. So if you remember, right, a digital certificate is primarily act like a identity card or like a driver's license or or a passport, as it basically tells you that that you are who you are, and your identity's validity period. And for example, here, if you can see a digital certificate that will show you that the owner's company, certificate issuer, expiry date, and more. Right. So next, we're going to show you guys how does GlobalSign generally issue a digital certificate. So as we as GlobalSign, we are a trusted, a public trusted certificate authority. We are guaranteed that individual granted the unique certificate, in fact, who he or she claims to be, and a certificate, it provides authentication by serving as credential to validate the identity of the entity is issued to. So here's one of our process, how a process about how we issue a certificate. A customer will request a certificate from GlobalSign, and GlobalSign's vetting officer will review this application. So when we review this application, we will review this customer's company registration information. So the customer's organization registration information, such as the business address, the location, registration number, all this, they all can be found from a public trusted source from the internet. And a company's registered telephone number, it can be seen from a public trusted source. So GlobalSign vetting officer will phone this number and request to speak with that customer directly to ensure that we are speaking with the right person by not misissuing the certificate. So and once we confirm that, yeah, this is an actual order from this actual customer authorized by the company, this and that, then yeah, we will issue out the certificate. So here are some of key points that from my presentation today, and as you can see, how electronic signature and the self-signed certificate, it can be fake easily in a document. But if you look at a digital signature, it protects your document by providing the information of the signer and that blue ribbon to show you that if a digital certificate is trustable. And you may be wonder, right, why this is an urgent need. So in fact, right, there are many of examples that are showing you in the past or even right now that what are the consequences of being fake online with a document or a general document signing practice. So some of you guys may read this news before. Back in 2021, Westpac says that at least 7 major corporate customers, including Kroos, Woolworth, Veolia, and WestTrac, they have been caught up in a fraud involving fake invoice and forged signature that it could be cost the bank more than about 290 million. And other than that, right, you can see that the risk of forgery or fraud document, it will also damage your company's reputation badly. So in my earlier career, I am working as an international student recruiter, that recruiting students from different parts of the world that go to study abroad. So one of my students, he applied a university to study in Australia before from me, and one day he came to me by telling me that, hey, I received a visa approval from the Australian government. So I told him that this is impossible because from what I can see from my system here, it says that his academic documents, everything are still under assessment. It's impossible for him to get that Australian student visa. So the student and the parents, they were shocked, and they were quite quite angry, upset at me and my company, because they think that how can we giving them a fake information, this and that. But after I explained to them like all the visa application process, everything, they slowly understood how should it be, and turns out that that student applied through many different agency, and one of the agency could be happening to be a scam, a scammer, and then try to scam him by using this particular fake document. So that gives me a thought, is that it's difficult to prevent something like this happening. But what I realize is that with now these are modern innovation and the technology, there are actually so many ways that a company can should consider use this kind of technologies, and this kind of security to make sure that their business reputation will be protected by and by giving their customer, their business partner, everyone information or education about how to identify what is the real or a fake document in general. Right. So yeah, that's all my sharing today. Hope everyone's enjoying, and thanks again for your time. So back to you now, Megan.
Thank you, Rocky, for sharing your valuable knowledge. We trust that it's helped all of you to better understand how electronic and digital signatures differ. As we made clear, the risks that come with using untrusted signatures, such as simple electronic signatures, are significant, regardless of the size of your business. The damage that can be done by employing a solution with inferior security is serious. Now let's welcome back David, who will tell us about how trusted digital identities can be used in SigniFlow's secure and easy to use signing application.
Hello everybody, my name is David Saunders. I'm the Regional Director for SigniFlow based in Melbourne. So today already I'm just going to give you a bit of an insight into SigniFlow in general, and then we'll quickly have a look at the signing application, just to show you how you can actually sign with a digital signature, which really ensures that you're signing with a trusted digital identity. So today really I'm going to focus on how our partnership with GlobalSign is helping organizations in Australia to fully automate their document processes in a secure manner using trusted digital signatures. So GlobalSign is one of the largest certificate authorities and has successfully integrated its digital certificate issuance system with SigniFlow. This allows for businesses and organizations to collaborate and have instant visibility into who has received, reviewed, signed a document using trusted digital certificates. Clients can conduct business efficiently, knowing that their signed documents are legally binding and fully backed by a court-admissible digital signature. SigniFlow is a digital signature workflow manager that enhances and fully digitizes any process that requires a document to be signed or approved. As Rocky mentioned, unlike a simple electronic signatures, SigniFlow's digital signatures use digital certificates issued by GlobalSign that binds the identity of the person to the PDF document. So when a document is digitally signed with SigniFlow, the document's exact contents and the identity of the signatory are bound together to form a unique digital fingerprint, thereby ensuring non-repudiation in the court of law. Signatures can be verified without the need for any special proprietary software. Users can verify the signer's identity by simply clicking on or double-clicking on the digital signature within the document, and that will actually pull up the audit trail associated with the signing ceremony, but also the information specific to the signer. So using SigniFlow, you can really ensure compliance with the Australian Electronic Transactions Act. You can secure your digital transactions, and you can store your files electronically as well. So next, I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview of SigniFlow, who we are. So we're a global company, and we're headquartered in the United Kingdom. We've got offices in Johannesburg, in Melbourne, Australia, and as well as in Singapore. All of our clients and partners benefit from 24/7, 365 days a year support. We serve about 32 countries globally. The platform is in 11 languages. We have about 20,000 plus business clients that hosts close on 1 million users, and they circulate tens of millions of documents through the platform each year. All of our operations are ISO 9001 certified. We have an ISO 27001 certification for information security. Our deployment is in Microsoft Azure in Sydney, so really you are complying with all local privacy requirements in Australia. So next up, I'm going to be sharing my screen just to show you what the platform actually looks like when signing a document. So the first thing that you would do is log into SigniFlow. Generally, it's just a username and password that you have to log in. And when you log in, the first thing that you actually see really is a dashboard. So I have a certificate issued by GlobalSign Provision to my account, meaning that I have been vetted by GlobalSign, and I'm signing with a digital certificate. So the first thing you see is a couple of baskets. You can see what documents are pending. So we all get busy. Sometimes we miss emails. You would receive the document via email to sign. However, you can go into the pending basket just to access those documents and sign them. Circulating is where you've actually sent documents out for signature and you're waiting for other people to actually sign them. So within the circulating basket, you'll be able to see the document ID. So if we go in here, you'll see there's a document ID. If you click on the document ID, it'll actually pull up an audit trail associated with that specific transaction. And if we go into another document ID, you'll see that it has the same audit trail. You can see the signatures that are required, the date requested, the priority. If you've got multiple people in the workflow and at any stage a signer has to change, you don't have to go and cancel the workflow. You can just click edit, and then you can, as long as the person hasn't signed the document, you can edit the signer, and then it will just quickly reroute back to that person for signature. So you can remind people, you can open documents, you can download them, or you can cancel the workflow entirely. So we also have cancelled, expired, rejected. So somebody can reject a document with a reason. Completed. So everybody within the workflow has fulfilled their roles and responsibilities, which might be a signer, an approver, a viewer, or a witness. You then have drafts shared with me, your team docs. So if you've got multiple departments and you want to make sure that all your information is segregated between different departments, we set up the business profile. And under the business profile, we can set up teams, departments, users. We can allocate team leads to the teams or departmental managers to the managers. And if you go into team docs, you'll be able to see all the documents that are currently in circulation with your team. Once again, you can access the audit trails. You can reassign the document. So perhaps I've gone on leave or somebody within my team's gone on leave. You can reassign it to somebody else, or you can remind that person that they need to sign. So each and every basket will have a document ID, and as well as those embedded, the embedded audit trail. The audit trail does reside within the document as well, but is backed up in the application. Portfolios is used extensively across our client base. So in particular, perhaps maybe a law firm. You have a specific matter, and that matter really has various documents that somebody has to sign over the life cycle of that matter. A SigniFlow portfolio allows you to create a central file associated with that matter, and within the matter you would have all the documents. So if I click open, you'll see it as an example here. I've got multiple documents that are associated with that specific transaction. Now, these documents could be signed documents, they could be just copies of my passport, they could be invoices, they could be contracts, engagement letters, could be anything. And the actions that you can take within the portfolio is really, you can download, you can email a copy, you can rename, delete, you can add a file. So maybe it's just a file that complements that portfolio. We can add a form, we can add a flow. We can also share the portfolio with everybody in the business, or maybe a department or a team, or with a contact. We can also make provision for attachments within the portfolio. So already portfolios allow you to digitize certain processes, accounts payable, or any form of approvals. You can also build forms. So you've got a form builder. So maybe you've got internal paper-based forms that you quickly want to go and digitize. You can just drag and drop. So it becomes quite smart. I'm doing this in haste today. But the end result is that in forms, or a standard user can go select a specific form that they use frequently, and they can select it, and they can push this form into workflow. So you've gone and already digitized a paper-based process by just building this form. Okay, so really the platform comes with all Microsoft Office plugins. You can actually sign in the Microsoft Office suite. It's directly connected to SigniFlow. And for the purpose of today, I'm just going to show you how you can quickly sign a document or send a document out for signatures. So we can create a new workflow. We can click to import a document from our desktop. We can drag and drop documents. We can use templates, precedents. I'm going to use a document template that I use frequently. We can now check the document to make sure it is the right document. We can rename it, we can replace it, we can split the pages, we can start a new portfolio, or we can add to an existing portfolio. So as I showed you earlier, I had a whole list of portfolios. So I can go find that portfolio, maybe it's an HR file, and I can link it. So when the document does get signed, it'll go back to that portfolio. But for today, we will just create a demo portfolio. We can set the priority, we can set a due date, we can set the document to expire on a certain date, we can set auto remind. I've got some custom configurations on my platform, so we'll choose to ignore that for today. We can set pre-configured messages. So it's a three-step process. You upload the document, you configure the document settings, and then you add the signers or approvers. So I'm going to add myself as a signer. My information will automatically pre-fill. I'm going to opt for a digital signature today. So you do have the option for a simple electronic signature, but I want a high security digital signature to ensure non-repudiation. We also have face sign available, where we can actually embed an image of the person into the document at the time of signing. I'm going to add myself, and I'm going to add an external person. So this person's known to me. Their information will pre-fill as soon as I type their name, and I would go through the same process. I want them to sign the document. I don't want them to be able to proxy. I want to send a completed email. I want a digital signature, and I don't want face sign, so I'm going to add them. We have viewers, we have approvers, we have face-to-face, which is a witness, and we have a group. Next, I'm going to go to the document prepper. Now, I use this document frequently, so I've actually built a template that I have saved, and I'm going to apply that template shortly. But just to show you, you can navigate and apply the respective fields anywhere on the document that you need it. And we have signature, initials, mandatory text fields, non-mandatory, checkboxes, checkbox groups, drop-downs, names, dates, email addresses, contact numbers, designation, face-to-face initial, face-to-face signature, a company stamp. And this is where you can save your template once you've applied the fields. But for today, I'm going to go and find a template that I use often, and I'm going to load it. So now I've made provision for that. You can also, because I've created a portfolio, I can go and share this portfolio now with anybody within my team, a department, or the business. I can give them certain access, viewer, contributor, or owner. If it's just a specific user, I can type in their email address and share that portfolio. I'm also going to add a document placeholder. So this is an ID document. So a placeholder is our version of an attachment, and you can limit the visibility of the placeholder to certain people. So I'm going to add that ID document. And the next step is really just to release the documents. And because I'm the first person in the workflow, I'm going to be prompted to sign first. So there is an order of events. So we'll see that here is the document. The date has already been inputted, as well as my name. There's a requirement for an ID document. So I'm going to quickly add that document. Because we created that portfolio, as soon as I add this document, it's going to be added to that specific portfolio. So you can see the document has been uploaded. We have an ID document as well as the contract within the portfolio. So I just need to sign. While that's signing, we'll quickly jump back into the platform just to show you what's actually happening. So if we go into circulating, we can see now, this is the workflow that I sent. I initiated the workflow. I have signed on page 1. There's my IP address, my browser, my geolocation. I've uploaded a document, and now we are waiting on somebody to sign. Okay, so that document has now come through. This would contain your company branding. We would brand this according to your corporate identity. And the person receiving the document would click Open Document, and they would go straight into something called Easy Sign. It is a simplified user interface that the person engages with. It is not complicated. There is just some instructions. There is your personal message, and then they would just start navigating through the fields and completing the fields. You can see that I've signed this document now already, and they would then sign by drawing or uploading their signature, or they have the option also for a font signature as well. So if we go back into circulating, see that document still over there. Take a few seconds to come through. I think we'll probably just go into the portfolio just to show you where that resides. So you'll see now we created that portfolio not too long ago. We have a document audit trail associated with the portfolio. If we open the portfolio, you'll see that it has the document as well as the attachment. Now, just to show you the document that has been signed. So as mentioned, I have a certificate that has been issued by GlobalSign. So if you click on the signature, you'll see that we have embedded the audit trail into the document using a certificate issued by GlobalSign. If we go into the signature properties, we can see that I have signed the document. There's my email address, the signing time. I've accepted the document in an electronic format. There's a geolocation. Then what's important here is that I have my own personal certificate. So I have my own trusted digital identity, and that has been issued to me. So within the top of the screen, you can see there's a green tick. And each signer has the necessary embedments to actually ensure non-repudiation in a court of law. And what's important here is that we include an embedded timestamp. We do not use the date and time on the PC clock. We use GlobalSign's timestamping service. So a simple electronic signature does not offer you that. You'll find that if you click on that panel, it'll say that the time is from the person's clock on their PC. Now, if I had to sign with a simple electronic signature and change the date and time on my PC, of course, it'll affect the legal standing. So this is an advanced and qualified means, signing with a digital certificate. Okay, I think that's everything from me. So thank you everybody for attending today's session.
Thanks, David, for the presentation. We trust that it was a helpful demonstration of how SigniFlow's signing application works with trusted digital identities. All right, and then next up, we are going to welcome back both Rocky and David so they can answer any questions that you have, that you've submitted during the presentation or that you'd like to submit now, which you can do through the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. Oh, there we are. So David or Rocky, not sure which one that you'd like to do, but how long does it take to implement these solutions?
I think from a SigniFlow point of view, I think we can have you set up within a 24-hour period.
Right, and from a GlobalSign here, we have since we have this set of vetting process to follow, and but in general, our vetting process will take up 1 to 2 business days.
All right, perfect. Also, just wondering, do both signatures require certificates?
I think perhaps maybe I will answer that question. So If you are signing with a digital signature, then you do require a certificate which is issued by GlobalSign. And as part of that, they will actually vet you or your organization. And that really proves that you really are the person who you say you are. A simple electronic signature does have a certificate issued, but it's not issued to that specific person. So really, from a high security use case perspective, it would be beneficial to have a certificate issued to you directly by GlobalSign.
Right, perfect. Are there different types of digital certificates?
Yeah, let me answer that. So yes, that's a good question. So public trust certificate authority like GlobalSign, we are providing different types of a digital certificate for different purposes. So one of a very typical example is that you might see some of the website have those like a small tagline in the URL bar. We call those SSL certificate to prove the website's identity, and also it carries a function of encryption. And other than that, yes, they also certificate that will be using, for example, like a software application, which is a code sign certificate. And you might see some of the email. They also have those called SMI certificate to sign on the email to prove that this email address it comes from a sender who claim he or she is to be. So yes, there are multiple types, but the one we are talking about here today is in particular that approved by PDF document, Adobe PDF document. So I hope that answers your question.
All right. There was some questions that have come through in the chat. How does one know if the person in the copy of the passport is the same as the person who they're dealing with?
So I guess what we're not actually verifying the passport information provided in the passport. However, SigniFlow does have a integration with Australia Post Digital Identity, and as part of that, we can actually run know your customer checks, whereby we actually where we qualify that the passport information. As part of SigniFlow, you do have the ability to upload a document into SigniFlow, but unfortunately, we don't do the checks then and there. There would be separate functionality that you would have to use to actually run those checks.
We've got another question. What happens if I modify the signed document?
Right. So as you can see earlier, when you have a document to be digitally signed, you will see a blue ribbon shows that all signatures are valid. But if someone tampered this document, so Adobe PDF Reader will visually indicate that the document has been tampered by showing that at least one signature has problems. This kind of information showing on that ribbon.
Great. I think that is a wrap with all our questions. So we thank you for our time today.